This is Module 8, the interpret, decide, and act phases of pragmatic inquiry. We're going to be doing a number of different things in this last module, but the main point is to take all of the research that we've done in the explore phase and to begin to interpret how it is we can intervene in a system and to make a persuasive case to a particular audience that they should do something. And the focus in this part is to transition from a well-researched rational argument to something that's more broadly persuasive, using images and sound and being conscious of the language we use to talk about our project and the potential action that we have in mind. There are two primary learning objectives for Module 8. The first is to interpret the meaning of the analysis from the Explore Openly modules, utilizing different modalities and reflection tools. The second one is to use presentation techniques as a tool to convince an audience of a sustainable response to the core challenge identified at the beginning of the quarter. There are two sets of tasks in Module 8. The first one is to complete all of the interpret assignments from the Interpret Imaginatively tab of the Pragmatic Inquiry ePortfolio. The second one is to create a systemic change project pitch and presentation that has two parts, obviously. One is a pitch that identifies a target audience, a specific intervention point in a particular system, and an action point. The second part is to create a 2 to 3 minute elevator presentation that has approximately 7 to 10 slides. In the Interpret Imaginatively section of the ePortfolio, there are 4 separate tasks or assignments. The first one is to conduct an interview with someone or a few people that you consider to be either an expert in the particular field or a general wisdom figure. What do they say about your core challenge? The second one is to have what we call an internal conversation, and that is where you write verbatim an imagined conversation between you and some wisdom figure. Be sure not to get into any psychoanalysis early on. Just write your question or comment and write down what you imagine to be his or her response. This is a very important tool for getting at values. The third one, the habit analysis, is to identify the embedded habits, your own or other people's, that exacerbate your core challenge. In other words, what are the habits that prevent your solution to the core challenge? What are the forces that you have to work against? And the last one is to identify images or to map your challenge question. What does it look like if you have to pick images or a mapping exercise to do this? What does your problem look like? Each section, you'll notice in the ePortfolio, is clearly labeled, so make sure to put your response under the blue font as you did in each of the other sections. We talked about this slide at some length in class. This is General David Petraeus's systems map of the conditions in Afghanistan. To some, this may appear to be just a convoluted mess, but to others, this is really a very impressive, comprehensive view of a complex reality. Your core challenge is no less complex, and yet, as systems thinkers, we have to begin to map all of the factors that go into our potential solution. In the Decide Responsibly tab of the Pragmatic Inquiry ePortfolio, you will respond to the 3 dimensions of the Systemic Change Project pitch. As with the other sections, be sure to put your response under the blue font. In the Act Courageously tab of the Pragmatic Inquiry ePortfolio, there are 2 sections in the left-hand column. One is the Systemic Change Project presentation, and the other one is the final reflection that I'll get to in a minute. As you upload your Systemic Change Project presentation, you'll need to first save the PowerPoint as a series of separate images, and then you're going to upload those images into the gallery module that I've created for you. Although we won't be able to hear your narrative, we'll hear that in class. This is an archive of your presentation.